How Dare You? A Miraculous Ladybug Fanfiction, Part 1. Can I kiss you? Marinette felt her breath slip out of her lungs as she shyly glanced up at Adrien. This was it. This was her moment. She closed her eyes as he slowly leaned in, gently pressing his lips to hers once, and then once more. Her heart was about to jump out of her chest and, even though her makeup had worn off throughout the evening, there was no need to reapply. Her face was flushed. He looked at her, uncertainty and vulnerability in his eyes, as they broke away and sighed, blinking away his emotions into a small, somewhat sad smile. "What?" Marinette whispered. "Nothing. I'm just happy. I'm happy right now." There were a few more kisses between the two of them, cut off abruptly with giggles and sighs of content as the two of them lived in their own little world, if only for a few hours. Yet, Marinette couldn't help the sinking feeling in her stomach. It felt like it wouldn't last. It felt like he would wake up tomorrow and change his mind. That he would say, "No thanks, not for me," like the last few guys she kissed. "It'll be fine," Marinette thought. "He won't do that to you. He's practically your best friend." But the taxi ride home was rough. Silence flooded her ears until he saw her off to the doorstep. "Hey," Adrien said, shifting uncomfortably in front of her apartment door. I don't know how to say this, but..." She felt her heart sink. She knew what he was going to say, and experience told her that there was nothing she could do about it. "I get it," she whispered. "Perhaps we're taking this too fast?" It was a lie, and she knew it. They had been meeting up regularly, almost daily, for 6 months now. Who knew that a failed pasta date would take them this far? "I've just got a bad feeling about this," he continued. The last time I felt this way, I'm sorry. I don't want to lose this friendship with you." "I get it." "I'm sorry. We should just, I don't know." "I get it." "I think we should put this on pause." His words stabbed her. She knew what that meant. Even if he thought his intentions were different, she knew that they didn't have a chance. He had somehow gotten all of the power over their relationship, and there was nothing, she realized, she could do to change his mind. "Good night," she whispered. She turned the door handle and retreated into her apartment without so much as a goodbye kiss. She listened to him leave before sliding down the doorframe, tears prickling her eyes as she curled into a ball like a sensitive hedgehog. She couldn't breathe. "Not again," she thought. Was she really that hard to commit to? Was she just a side quest that boys could check off once they kissed her? It was almost 2 a.m. As much as she loved her, Marinette didn't want to call Alia. Should she stay alone? Who could she call? Who would be awake? She pulled out her phone and flipped through the contacts, pausing when she came to Nino's information. Hesitantly, she tapped the message icon and composed a short text. "Call me when you get this," it read. A few minutes later, as Marinette stood in front of the cupboards looking for something sweet but zero motivation to look for it, she felt her phone vibrate. It was Nino. "Hello?" she whispered, not wanting to wake the rest of the apartment.
"Let's go get some friggin' chicken nuggets."
It was Nino. She had a tendency to censor out the words of his that were a little more blunt, of course, but Marinette giggled as he told her he'd come pick her up. There were plenty of late-night American hamburger joints in the area that they could eat at. She and Nino had made a habit of eating together when the other was emotionally constipated, and with one vague message he was there, cursing up a storm and rubbing her back as he let her cry, confident that it linked back to Adrian, but refusing to tell her, "I told you so." An hour later, Marinette was well fed and ready for bed. Nino sat with her, not expecting anything, and talking about life as her emotions swirled around the 5 stages of grief. He left, finally, and she sat on the couch, content with life. It was over. She and Adrian Agreste were over. And as much as it hurt, it was liberating. It opened all of her free time again, and she felt an itch to start designing something. Not something dark or gothic, but something bright. She had an odd sense of optimism for someone who cried her eyes out 2 hours before. Oddly enough, she knew that everything would be okay. Thanks, guys. I'll have the second part up shortly.